All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Late Night Shots Podcast, episode 118. We probably have one of our biggest guests here. We got three-time world champion Kyle Dake. So, what's up? How are we doing today?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. This is a big event for us, to have one of the best wrestlers on the planet right now on our podcast. So, let's just hop right into it. You got the World Team Trials coming up. I'm not sure if you've accepted your bid yet to Final X. So,
Yeah, there should be an announcement coming here sometime soon.
okay. So, great. So, it's 74 kilos. You didn't have to wrestle off for the spot last year, being a claimed Olympic bronze. So, what are you kind of looking forward to? I think it's your first time back at Final X in a while.
Well, we have Pan Am's here. I'm leaving on Monday. So I'll be wrestling down there in a couple of weeks. Just, get my weight down and get prepared, starting to taper this week, getting ready for that event. And then, just focus on Final X right now and getting out there, putting on a good performance and being ready to, make another world team.
Yeah. So, Pan Am's is kind of just like, for a lot of guys on their team, just kind of like this event to go to run for the World Team Trials. Who do you think you'll be seeing in the finals to make the World Team?
I'm not sure if they seed the Pan Am's. I can't remember if they do or not. But there's a couple good guys. 74 is probably the deepest weight in the Pan Am's. And there's a handful of guys. I don't know who Cuba's sending. I imagine Puerto Rico's going. So Franklin Gomez will be there. He's a medalist at the World Championships in the past. And so I'm not entirely sure who's gonna be there, but there's always some tough guys. Anthony Valencia made the team for Mexico. I'm not sure if he's going.
Yeah.
I know his brother Zahid's going for the U.S. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited to get down there and be able to compete.
Yeah. So, I think going back, probably one of the biggest matches of your career, 2021 Olympic trials. You've been going at Jordan Burroughs your entire career. You beat him once in 2017 trials. What was it like to finally get your chance at the Olympics that you weren't able to get in 2012 and 2016?
It was good. I mean, this was the first time I wrestled Jordan on an even playing field. At least at World Team Trials, and I felt confident going in. I felt like I was in really good shape. I was really well prepared. I was doing everything right, and I just felt like it was my time to go out there and take it. And I wrestled a really good weekend. I had two matches day one, and then another two matches day two, and Jordan's obviously a great competitor, and he's been super successful. And he ended up, many probably know, winning a world title at 79 kilos, the weight class above me, the same year as Olympics 2021 in Oslo. So I know that he's still really competitive, and it's one of the driving things for me is like, go get it. Keep he's going to be right there, so you have to keep going day in and day out, and make sure you're making the right decisions every day.
Yeah, so even looking forward to this year, there's two matches I'm pretty sure you wanted at the World Championships. You want to get your hands on Sidakov, and you want to get that rematch with Kadi. I think both of them won't be there this year, so, you probably have Salkazanov or Chimizo in the finals. You're trying to win your fourth world title too.
Yeah, I'm pretty sad that, the state of the world has kind of put us in this situation. I would really like to have the opportunity to wrestle Kadi again, and also get a chance to wrestle Sidakov. The Olympics was tough for me. I felt like I had a really good chance of winning, heading to camp, and then once we got to camp in Tokyo, it was just unfortunate what happened, and it's just, it didn't make sense. I've asked plenty of doctors on like what they think could have happened, and most of them are like, I've never seen something like that happen before, and it was just there's still a lot. I'm trying to heal and get over it, but a lot of confusion from it as well. And I think I feel a little bit better about the fact that I was able to go out and compete 7 weeks later, and be able to get to the top. Made some adjustments to a few things, my training, how I wrestle, and what I was doing for my foot. So being able to go out was something that I am very thankful for. And I'm excited to go out and compete again. It's been a long road since Oslo, just trying to figure out if we were going to be able to wrestle again. There was a chance that they weren't going to let us wrestle this year and for the Olympic. Well, they were going to let us wrestle this year. I take that back. But being able to compete at the Olympic team trials in 2024 was a big fight for us. And for all the guys and girls over at Athletes for Medical Freedom, we had to really push and make some headway. And we did, specifically for wrestling. There's a handful of other sports, but wrestling was really a spearhead for the USOPC. And we had to put in a lot of work to make it work for our organization. And we weren't able to we kind of failed as an organization in the sense that we weren't able to get the USOPC to drop the whole mandate. They basically just pushed blame and said, okay, well, we're not gonna touch this because it's international. We're gonna be more hands off. We're gonna say there's no mandate, but we're gonna leave it up to the NGBs. So USA Wrestling, we spent a lot of time, myself, David Taylor, and a handful of others spent a lot of time talking with USA Wrestling and figuring out whether they were going to be advocating for us and allowing us to compete. And they did a great job, and they helped us with everything. They were very responsive to all of our needs, and we're able to go out and talk to UWW to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity to compete. And that's all we really wanted. We didn't want any special treatment or anything like that. All we want is to have an even playing field, and we don't want to be told we can't compete because we didn't want to put something or do something. But yeah, it's a hard landscape to navigate. And if you don't have I've been on the world teams, I've won world titles, but I haven't won an Olympic gold medal, and that's what I want to do. And that's what's driving me every single day now is I need to put myself in the best position to win an Olympic gold medal. And in order to do that, I need to go out and win another world title. I need to go out and win another world title. And then I'm sitting in the driver's seat going into the world championships or into the Olympic games, because now I'm sitting out in the finals. Plus I have all the points racked up, and I'll be first seed at the Olympic games. So I need to go put myself in that position to win. And if I wasn't even going to be able to compete at the Olympic team trials, this other stuff, is valuable, but it just didn't feel right. So it took a toll on me, took a toll on a lot of people whose ultimate goal is to be an Olympic champion. And we had to fight for it, and we did, and now we're in a pretty cool place.
Yeah. Again, about the whole vaccine stuff, I know this impacted you a lot more, training out of Spartan and Cornell. You guys lost, a good amount of years due to all this stuff, Gabe Dean, Max Dean, they decided to cut their losses, go to Penn State. How do you feel like that kind of affected the program as a whole? Because, you have Yanni right there who just made his first world team, but didn't get to win national title last year.
Yeah, my internet's a little wonky, but I think you can hear me right now.
Yeah.
Yanni's opportunity to go out and compete on a senior world team was something pretty special. Yanni and I spent a lot of time together over the past couple of years. He was kind of my main training partner when Gabe and Max left. So he was the guy that I really leaned on. And we work really well together, and we can bounce ideas off each other and tell, hey, that'll never work. Or, if I hit something on Yanni, like, hey, is that good, or am I just overpowering you? I'm a lot bigger than he is. So, and he's got a really good feel for it. And, so he's been really helpful for me, and it's really cool to see him be able to go make a world team this past year. I know he wanted to make the team. I felt like he felt like he was the best guy, and he just didn't perform to the best of his ability, and that hurt him a lot. But it was a good growth experience. He's still in college. He just won his third national title. He's going first, fourth. So I mean, I'm really excited for Yanni. I know he's really excited to be able to go out and compete. He loves freestyle wrestling, so he's pretty amped up for the World Team Trials. And I'm excited to watch him compete and hopefully make another World Team.
So another big thing, you just turned 31 years old a couple months ago. So, you have you 31, Jordan's 33. I think Taylor's 31 also now.
Mhm.
How much longer does this, like, where's the path on your career at? Do you think, like, is it to Paris and then kind of done there, or is it just like keep going until you can't go anymore?
My plan right now is to definitely go through 2024. So, people say take it year by year, and I get that, but really for me, I'm focused on a quad. So I'm definitely going through 2024 in Paris. After Paris, we'll probably take some time and reassess where we're at. My wife and I, we have 3 kids. We have a 1-month-old Leo. We have a 18-month-old Emmy, and then we have a 3-year-old Ella Jo. So we have our hands full pretty much every day. And it's not always easy to be in a when I'm gone for weeks at a time because I need to go train and I need to go compete. So it's hard on my wife. And but she's a trooper. We have our family here. They can always help out. We have a lot of support to help with that. But as for the other guys, I don't know what their plan is. You know, they could go through 28, and I mean it's kind of cool. Being in LA, having Olympics on home turf, that keeps my doors open, just because I'm like, man, that would be awesome to be able to go out and compete in front of home crowd. And I know they're going to do a great job out there. And for another, it just depends on the state of the world in 24. Where are we headed? I don't know what's going on with geopolitics. I don't know who's going to turn it up or if we're going to turn it down and figure it out. I know that there's a lot of people struggling right now, and people seem to be a little high strung about everything. And I get it. I mean, I understand. It's hard to put food on the table for a lot of people, and that's unfortunate to see. You'd love to be able to help everyone and do all of those things, but I'm just hopeful that nothing crazy. We've already had a crazy enough time the past 2 years. We don't need anything else going on. But that's just the state of the world we're in right now, and we got to get through it.
Yeah, I know. I think this is, really big for you too. So, what was it originally like for you when you found out the Olympics were canceled? We're like, they got canceled the moment they got postponed later. So, what was it kind of like for guys like you, David Taylor?
Most of the time for me, I was during that period. So I had found out that there might be something coming down the pipeline, and it could be very disruptive to life. And so I was just really paying attention to everything. I was constantly on my phone, which was I pride myself on not being on my phone a lot and like not having it around me and not needing to check it all the time and be there. But the pandemic, I was constantly updating it because I wanted to know. Like I was still going to train, I was still doing all those things, but I needed to know. And I wanted to know if I needed to slam my foot down on the gas, or if I could, let off and see where we were going. Is this something super serious to where I have to worry about my kids and my family, or is this something that it's going to blow over and we'll have a big deal about it? We're going to compete. It's just going to be delayed a little bit. And when they canceled it, I was like, okay, well, hopefully they bring it back. Like, hopefully it's not canceled. And so then they postponed it a year, and that was nice, to have a hard date to start training for, and gave me an extra year of maturity, gave me an extra year of experience, gave me, a lot of time. I felt like I've been on an upward swing with my wrestling. I'm getting further and further away from injuries. I'm getting closer and closer to I think my peak form of wrestling, because I don't think I've gotten there yet. I think there's still a lot of room for growth for me, and there's certain areas where I'm still improving. I feel like I've said this before in an interview, and I still feel it. I feel like there's like 15 or so things that I'm going to have to implement in order to reach my peak form. So I think that I still do them in the practice room, but I don't quite have them down to where I feel I can go out and hit them on the best guys in the world. So that's the fun part for me, is like trying to hone in on those skills, trying to understand how my body needs to orient itself, and how can I put myself in a position to execute. And that's what that 1 year helped me with. That 1 year helped me gain a few of those things, so that I could go out and make a team, win a medal, and continue toward being the best I can possibly be.
Yeah. I know functional patterns, I think it is something, you talk about all the time. So like, what's kind of the story behind that, and like where that came from, like why you decided to implement it?
Yeah, so I was injured a lot from the end of my college career until 2016. So 2013, 2016, I was injured a good bit, and it kept me off the mat. So I didn't have a lot of mat time, and I felt like it was like one thing after another after another. And what FP did is kind of just hone my focus on what I was supposed to be doing. So what are the external things in my downtime that I can be doing, whether that be getting out, getting the sun, drinking good water, eating good food, making sure that I'm taking care of my body, and I prioritize my health first. So that was a big portion of it. And then also when I was training, was I doing the right things? And when I say the right things, what does that mean? Well, functional patterns is basically have the 4 pillars. You have walking, running, standing, and throwing. So those 4 things are the foundation of all human movement. And if you can get closer to perfection on those 4 pillars, then everything else, you don't really have to worry about. You'll figure that out pretty quickly. And there was just a lot of imbalances in my body that I could mask sometimes when I was moving dynamically, but most of the time, if I got fatigued, you could really see them. So it was about fixing those biomechanics, and working towards a more symmetrical body, and understanding where some of my bone deformations were, and how can I fix those. What tensions do I need to fix those? And you have to be able to put yourself under those proper tensions, and have the right sequencing, so that you're not, 1, bleeding energy, 2, jamming a joint or causing an injury. And that's what really functional patterns did for me. It's obviously not a perfect system, but it's the best system that I've seen. And they do a really, really nice job at helping people get back from, neurodegenerative issues, whether it just be some, a guy who's dealing with depression or anxiety or whoever, and putting them on the right path, and having them think the right way and do the right things in order to attain health. And if you can continue to do those things, you'll start feeling better about yourself, more confident, and you'll just start making better decisions. So that was a big turning point for me, not just physically but also mentally. And they have a great product. They do a really nice job helping people move better. That's for sure.
I know another big thing in your training, you practice with David Taylor all the time, right? We talked to Wyatt Hendrickson, I think a couple weeks back. He said you guys go down to Air Force quite a bit to practice.
Yeah, so we David and I were there, I think it was in March. It was around that time frame, earlier March, right before conference in the national championships. And yeah, Air Force opened their doors to us. They're only 30-40 minutes away from the USOPC in Colorado Springs, so they're right there. And Coach Barber, he's awesome. He's always had an open door policy with us. Anytime we want to come in, he gives us the keys to the castle, basically. And so he's been that way since I really started. When he first got there, it was kind of that way. And Air Force has a really, really awesome culture. David and I went there, and we were able to overlap practice times and kind of see how they operated. And Sam wanted his guys to see what David and I were doing, how we train. It's little things, just like what we focus on, how hard we're executing technique, where are we putting our energy in, just small things like that. And then one of the cool stories that Sam told us was that the first day we were there, we were after their practice. So they had done stance in motion. I think it was Wednesday or something. So they had done their stance in motion after practice. And then, they just did it like they normally do. And then they had all stuck around for our practice and our practice end. So we ended up doing our own stance of motion. And David does, when he does stance of motion, it's like super hard. He's just like, go, 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 go. And when I one time a week when I'm doing mine, I see how many shots I can get in 30 seconds and how many leg attacks I can do, penetration steps. So I'm just going nuts and David's going nuts. And the next day they had their stance of motion again after practice, and Coach Barber was like, it was the best stance of motion we ever had. They didn't realize what they were doing the day before they saw you guys, and now they're trying really hard, going really hard during their stance of motion. And that was a cool story to see, just for them to pick it up. And it's nothing big, but it's cool to see that I have some sort of influence on that. Like, okay, if I inspire these guys to work a little bit harder, that's great. That's what it's all about. So, but yeah, we went up there and their room's really nice. They have a huge space, and they do play a little handball, which I'm a big fan of. But it wasn't quite fair. Why they had all the big guys on their team, and it was like tackle handball. So it was a little bit different than how I'm used to playing, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, going back to college, you were 4-time national champ. I think only 4 losses on your collegiate career. Looking back on that, you have Yanni, one of the guys you trained with a lot, going for his 4th national title next year. I think he's 80 something and 1. When all is said and done, say if he wins his 4th title, who goes down as a better collegiate wrestler?
Oh, well, I think Yanni made a world team when he was still in college. I didn't make a world team when I was in college. So he's obviously doing a lot of good things, got good things. And, my career was just different. It's like trying to compare my career to Kale's career to Yanni's career is just a lot different because we did different things at different times. Like Kale never made a world team when he was in college, but a guy like Jaden and Kyle both did. They both won medals. Dayton won a medal when he was in college. And, now Yanni is gone and he made a team. Hopefully he can win a medal this year and then win his 4th NCAA title. So I just think everyone's a little bit different, and it's cool to see. There haven't been very many programs that can say they've had 4-time national champ and a 3-time national champ. Now no one's ever been able to say 4 and 4. So I think it's going to be. Oklahoma State has Pat Smith, and I think they have a handful of 3-time national champs too. But going 4 for 4 was pretty cool for me, and I know it's going to be cool for Yanni. It's just different. I was kind of tall and lanky when I was a young kid, and then I just kind of grew into my body and was able to go 4 different weight classes and be able to go up and potentially beat one of the greatest wrestlers in college history, and David Taylor. That I think it just separates me a little bit, just the level of competition that I go against. But that doesn't take away anything from anybody else. Like I don't really mind whether they think I'm the best or 10th or 5th or whatever. It doesn't really bother me. I just go out and try to be the best version of myself, and that's what I try to communicate to Yanni. And I'm like, you're not competing against me. You're not competing against anybody but yourself. And he's starting to internalize that, and he always has. He's always understood that he wants to just be better, and just be a better wrestler. And he knows that there's just certain things you got to do if you want to be the best. And he's starting to do those things. He's starting to take his everything very seriously. He's becoming a professional about how he's training. And I didn't have that type of inspiration. When I was in school, I was kind of just doing my own thing. Like I wasn't eating properly. I was taking my sleep seriously, but I didn't take my recovery seriously. And I would go in and I would just wrestle hard. And I wasn't really trying to be innovative. I would just do what my coaches told me, and then I come in and put a little bit extra work in. And I made sure I won every single sprint that we ever did. And so I did do some extra, but the game I feel like has changed so much that you have to cover all your bases. And I feel like I'm in a good spot to help Yanni on that journey. It's just like, hey, these are the things you got to do if you want to be the best. And this is the path that I took. And I don't want you to make the same mistakes I did. This is how you can change. This is how you can change it and move forward. So, I hope Yanni goes undefeated. I hope he wins the Haas next year. I hope he pins everybody. And I hope he gets a gold medal this year. That's my ultimate goal for him. It'd be great for the Cornell program. Cornell has been, building itself up. It's kind of amazing what has happened up here. A small Ivy League school to be able to go out and compete with these massive programs like Penn State, Iowa, Ohio State, Oklahoma State. Like those historically have been the biggest programs, and they really, really value athletics. And we've kind of had to do things a little bit differently at Cornell and adapt and become great. And the cool part is that, we had Rob for a long time, Coach Cole for a long time, and now Coach Mike Gray's coming in, and he's not missing a beat. He's out there recruiting. He's got he just landed Meyer Shapiro. He's got a couple other guys who are coming through the pipeline. He's bridging that gap with Yanni and Vito. We have a bunch of young studs coming through. We got, a couple returning All-Americans next year as well. So I think that Cornell is in a good spot, and it's hard when you lose an entire recruiting class when your head coach leaves, but Mike's doing a great job. He's got a great staff around him. He's got good support, and he's got alumni support as well. So, he's continuing to keep that tradition alive, putting his own spin on it. And I think Cornell's in great hands right now.
Yeah. I know one of the biggest changes that you didn't mention, you have Nick Wisdowski, who just came in.
Oh yeah. So Nick has been awesome. I mean, he's, again, senior level world team medalist, and vying for another. He's going to be vying for an Olympic team spot. I think right now he's probably the favorite to make the team, with Gable retiring. So I feel like Nick is improving. He's expanding his horizons, being up here and taking a little bit of a coaching role. But he's got our heavyweights wrestling pretty well. I mean, Luis Fernandez, he's a stud coming out of high school, coming into college, and he's getting a lot better under Nick. And it's cool to watch him work. It's just, I feel like a lot of times people think, when they think of a heavyweight, they just think brawl, push, underhooks, control ties, and that's it. Well, Nick doesn't really fit that bill. He's attacking all the time. He's low level attacks. He's counter wrestling. He's, doing things like a lightweight would do. And I think it's good for him to be around people like Yanni, people like myself, Calvin Russell, Donnie Vincent, Mike Gray, Vito Arujá, just kind of picking up those, like, what are some things that work at the lower weight classes that I can implement? It's because he's athletic enough, he's strong enough, he's quick enough to be able to execute those techniques. And I think he's really blossoming up here. I really look forward to watching him compete at the World Team Trials. Well, he's going to be at Pan Am's too. Beforehand, we're flying out together. So it's been awesome to have Nick. I mean, I've been around him forever. I mean, New York boy. We've competed alongside each other for a long time, and it's cool to see him have the success he's had in college and then continue his success as a senior level athlete.
Yeah, I know beforehand you were talking about how you can't really compare careers like that. So, Flow Wrestling just released the top 100. I think you came in the top 10. So, Adeline Gray mentioned this a bit on Twitter. She was like, I have 6 world titles. Why is Helen Maroulis over me? And that brings up the question, because a lot of the debate under that was about the Olympic gold medal. So are you chasing just like that number in gold medals? Are you chasing the Olympic gold, or is there like a certain milestone you want to hit?
I mean, I want to get to a point where I feel like I can't get any better. That's really my goal, whether that be my body gives out on me so I can't get any better, or I just don't like it enough to continue to get better. Like, those are the things that I'm pursuing. Ultimately, Olympic gold medal is the goal. And I missed it. Adeline missed it. So those are things that we shoot for. But if we miss, I mean, yeah, we both got medals on the way back, but that's not what we're doing it for. We want to go out and win that gold medal. And there's the reason I think it's so valuable to win an Olympic gold medal is because everybody is training just for that one tournament. Really they're training for the world championships, and they're a really big deal. A lot of times they're tougher than the Olympics in the sense that you have more athletes, more high level athletes that you could run into at the world championships. But at the Olympics, there's 16 people in the bracket, and you got to go out and you have 1 weekend per quad to go out, basically 2 days to go out and put your best foot forward. And sometimes it works out and sometimes it doesn't, but that's the pinnacle of our. That's where all the media attention is. That's where everyone's tuning in. They're saying, okay, you won an Olympic gold medal. Okay, you're the best of the best. You're a world champion 6 times. Oh, that's great. But did you win the Olympics? Like, that's kind of the question. Because we are an Olympic sport, we don't have our own professional league. We're not in that position to say, oh, I'm a world champion. I'm the best ever. Whether in the NBA, nobody considers the Olympic champ of the NBA to be better than the team that would be, like in the NBA. So it's just different, or the MLB or NHL or whatever. So I think that there's a little bit of a difference in the world championships just because of the frequency of it versus the Olympics, which is once a quad. So yeah, I think it's hard to compare, and it's also really hard to compare, Helen and Adeline's career. We're all the same age. So me, Helen, Adeline, and David, we were all on world teams together, junior world teams together at the same time. And it was really cool because we all ended up having a lot of success, which is, I think a testament to the state of USA wrestling, and also just like wrestling in the United States as a whole. And it's been really cool to see Adeline go out and perform the way she has. I mean, she's had such a long run of dominance, and then have Helen go out and beat arguably the greatest female wrestler ever in 2016. Like, that was an unbelievable match. Like, that is like the capstone in a career. And when you're looking at their careers, Helen's versus Adeline's, they're not that much different. Like, there's Helen's Adeline's had her fair share of injuries, but Helen's had, same thing. She's had injuries and having to deal with it. And then for her to come back and go out, get another medal at 2 Olympics, she's a 2-time Olympic medalist, and then also win a world title again to put herself back on top is cool to see. I think that is, and Adeline did it too. So you're splitting hairs at that point. Like, it's just one person's opinion. Like, somebody else could put Adeline ahead of Helen, and I don't think they'd be wrong.
Yeah. I know something you touched on was, like you said, if I don't like the sport that much anymore. I know burnout was like a huge topic this year after what happened with a good amount of college guys. Is that something you've ever truly felt up until this point? Like, that you felt like maybe I want to retire, maybe I don't want to continue this?
Yeah, there's been times where I felt that way. The first time it really happened was my body just wasn't cooperating after 2016. I contemplated it. I'm like, man, do I really want to try to do this again? I'm not achieving my goals. I'm always injured. Like, what the heck am I going to do? And so like that was tough for me. And then after the World Championships this year, I thought about it. I'm like, man, do I want to keep doing this? And there was a little bit of time where I'm like, I got my family. I got a lot of things that I want to do in my life. Is this what I want to continue to do? And my wife and I talked about it for days on end, it felt like, and she could tell that there still was that fire deep down to like continue and go try to pursue this again. And I look back and I'm like, man, I'm in incredible shape. I feel better than I've ever felt. I'm in the driver's seat after winning the world championships. I'm going to go out and continue to compete. One, because I like competing, and I get out there and I feel it. I'm like, man, this is a lot of fun. And it is a lot of fun to go out and compete. So I don't think I dread, like, I was thinking about the Pan Ams, and then I was thinking about Final X, and then I was thinking about the World Championships. I'm like, do I want to wrestle in them, or am I dreading it? Like if I'm dreading it, I don't really want to do it, then okay, I'm ready to be done. But I wasn't really dreading it. I was getting excited. So I think that was a big thing for me. I don't think that it was something that I was ready to give up yet.
Yeah. So, looking at the time here, I think we can bring it down to, our final couple questions. So, one of the biggest ones I like to ask people at the end of every podcast, I think it kind of split up in two for you. You wrestled at, a peak time for college wrestling with a lot of the greats of our sport coming out at that time. If you had to pick three of your favorite collegiate wrestlers to watch, either past or still wrestling right now, who would they be?
Ooh. I love watching Yanni. I mean, he's incredible to watch. David, I mean, what David was able to do during his career was pretty incredible. That's a hard question because you got Gable with what he did. You got Kyle Snyder with what he did. You got Jaden with what he did. You got Spencer Lee with what he's doing. And you got a bunch of young guys. I mean, shoot, Zane Rutherford, Bo Nickel, Jason Nolf, Gabe Dean. Who else? Did I say Logan? I mean, there was a ton of guys that were just like Nick Wisdowski at the time. He's a two-time national champ, three-time finalist, four-time All-American. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of really good guys. I think Yanni would probably be one that I'm like, yeah, I definitely would watch him all the time. Gable would be one. I'd be like, I watch him all the time just because how he moves is crazy. And the last one, yeah, I mean, David was just super exciting to watch. So probably David.
Yeah. Okay. That's a solid list. I think every person we've asked, except for like, normally I say you can't pick somebody from your own school, but you're already kind of done with college. We normally say they can't pick their own school. I think every list has had David Taylor on it.
Yeah.
Up until this point. So I know the last question will be, if there's one guy I know you want to get your hands on is Jordan Burroughs again. He already says he's going to come down to 74 most likely in 2024. What are you most looking forward to in that matchup?
I just want to wrestle him again. I would wrestle him every year, 10 times a year. Just because I want to wrestle him. I want to go get him. I want to beat him. I want to beat him bad. Those are things that I feel like that I want to go do. And yeah, that's kind of one of the big motivating factors for me. It's like, go out and like, okay, this is going to be a war. He's going to try to punch me in the face. He's going to try to gouge my eyes. He's going to try to, pull my singlet. He's going to do all these things because he wants to win so bad. And I got to want it more than him. I got to go out and go do it. And that's the motivating factor. Like, hey, you got to put the work in now so that when you're out there, you can put your best foot forward. So those are the things that kind of continue to motivate me on and on and on and on and on. And, I feel like I still have more to prove. I still have more to prove to go get him, and again, he's just he's got 6 now. So he's going for 7th this year. He accepted his bid at 79. So I feel like he's probably the favorite at 79 to win it. There's a handful of other good guys, but, so I just, he's probably going to win and or medal. I mean, I don't even know how many medals he has. He had a ton of medals. Too. So it's hard to bet against him in terms of like if I think he's going to win or not. But when that's why I want to go out and beat him, because I'm like, I need to continue to get better, continue to cement my legacy and go see how good I am.
Yeah. That's probably one of the best responses I've got to one of those questions so far. So, I would like to thank you for coming on the podcast. It was a great experience for me. I know the people are going to love it when I put this out. So this has been episode 118 of Late Night Shots. And see you guys again next time.